live. Appreciate you guys joining. If you guys are in the community watching this live, appreciate you joining. If you are traveling and you happen to watch this later, you're watching the recording, hopefully this just helps give you some idea of how we're looking at things, and you learn from it. So first, as always, I want to talk about the plays that we did yesterday. So the market ended up opening up around here. As you guys know, we play the SPY. I'm going to go to the 2 minutes since that's primarily what we traded. At market open, one of the things we were talking in the room is we had some heavy resistance in this area. If you zoom out, what was once support was also resistance. I don't always do this, but when we talked about it, we did get some bearish divergence that popped up on here. So I said, you know what, let's open it up at market open. I was kind of bummed because many people in the room caught it, but I opened my position like right at market open and it just fell and it missed my entry. I was so freaking bummed, right? So I did not get this part of it necessarily all the way. I did get a little bit of a pump up within this candle, and I caught into it somewhere around here. So I didn't get the full fall, right? But we were able to earn pretty well on this one. This was about a $300 movement for me. But many people in the community did catch the whole thing, so congrats to you guys. It happens, when you're dealing with options, right? So now, as we kind of went through here, we were kind of just sitting tight. A couple people took some calls. I didn't take calls. I wanted to stay put. I ended up, after I saw the rejection here, I saw a secondary rejection, kind of a little double peak rejection. We took a put here. I took a heavier contract put here. So this movement right here was about 500 and some odd dollars. It was really sick. I did close it because we got into some previous resistance area. So I was anticipating it might hold this support. So we closed that pretty well. Here's where I kind of messed up, guys. I'll tell you is, so I ended up taking an additional put here. It was not a big contract, right? But I was trailing my stop, and it was kind of boring, right? It was just kind of going like this, right? And so I ended up walking away, and I had my trailing stop. What I anticipated, I swore that I moved it pretty far away, right? So it didn't get wicked out, because ultimately I knew it would come back in a good trade, right? The way that the candles were playing. And my dogs were looking at me like, I gotta go, we gotta go pee, like, let's go. So I'm like, all right, I'll go take you guys down there real quick. So I walked down to the dog park, and I'm sitting there, I'm all excited, right? I mean, when it pulled down to here, I was up from 800 to about 1100 for the day. I had a take profit somewhere in this range right here, right above this EMA. So this right here would have been probably about a maybe $300 or so movement. I walked away, and I saw my alert go off on Thinkorswim, and I was like, oh, sweet, it hit my take profit, right? And then but it took a little longer, so I'm like, let me take a look, and it says sold. So then I come back and I saw this, and I was like, why, my account's down 300, not up 300, right? So instead of being 800, I was up 500. And so I'm like super confused, and I looked, and it just missed my take profit, and I forgot I did not move my stop loss far enough away, so it actually went up and hit my stop loss. So it happens, right? But that's all right. I didn't capture the rest of this. I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna take my win, and we were up for the day. So at the end of the day, I'm net green. If I'm gonna make a mistake, you always want to try to make it to where at least you're still net green at the end of the day, right? So that's kind of the plays that we did. We did see bullish potential coming through here, right? So in the room we kind of talked about that, and so because we were just riding this trend line right here, this teal trend line, which was from way back when, and so we did anticipate that bullish move. I know somebody, I think Alex, if you're watching, I know he actually caught a call on this. He waited for the retest, caught the push up, and then he played it so perfectly. He played the resistance line here and flipped to a put and wrote it down, man. And so that was an awesome job. Super proud of you. And so, looking at here, you can see we actually have, some bearish divergence on the 2 minute, which, did play out. And then now, if you notice, we're pumping up. But I want to caution you guys, if you're trading the SPY today, right? If you overall look at this, right, if you especially go to the 5 minutes, a little more clear. I want you guys to look at what is going on here. you are consistently creating lower highs, right? Lower or equal. This one's a little bit equal, lower highs. But we are consistently creating higher highs. This is creating a nasty, nasty bearish divergence, right? So what you want to look at is, okay, if I'm going to play the divergence, where is that going to play? A great play would be somewhere off of like this trend line, or this is my, if we get a pre-market push up, right, you want to enter that trend line, or you want to just take like a little 2-point push right here. When it breaks this little channel here, wherever it is inside here, right, you can see the pre-market is still inside this channel. Once it breaks this channel, that divergence is going to play out, and then the fall is going to be pretty nasty. It doesn't mean that it has to play out right away. Like, we could come up all the way up into here, right, before it plays out. But it's definitely getting there, guys. So just be really safe on your calls today. I get it. Market's moving north. Everybody's excited. I'm not taking a call today, guys. And you guys know that because, you go to the 1 hour. We have our bottom, we have our top. Why in the world would I take a call anywhere near this top? If I want to take a call, I want to break these trend lines and see it move north. So that's my play on the SPY today, guys. You guys play and manage your own risk. This is the channels I drew for you guys on the SPX that I'm following from a scalping perspective. This is the hourly, right, that I drew it on. If we do continue a northern pattern where we're creating higher lows, higher highs, I mean, we could see, all the way up into this red line or even this white line, right? Because this is our first kind of 2-peak or most recent 2-peak, right? So there's a chance that we could do this, right? And then hit this line and then just absolutely collapse, right? Down to this level. So play your range on that. Just be patient today. Don't try to push any trades. If you go to the 1 hour on the SPX, technically our divergence hunter has us still bullish, and we are still green, with some room to go, and there's really not on the 1 hour here on the SPX. You can see there's really not that same divergence that is going on, right? And so just kind of be smart, play your candle progressions. Don't force trades. Today is not a day to force trades. So we'll touch on the Dixie. Dixie's doing what it's doing. If you go to 1 hour, that's what we've been following. You guys can see that we have just continued to round like we anticipated, like this. This is our trend line that we're following. My anticipation was we would push up to here. We didn't quite make it yet, but we might not be done, right? The fall off of this right here will probably be pretty substantial, which might be what pushes the market north. Now, this line is going to be critical, guys, because if for some crazy reason the Dixie finds some strength and we go like this and we go like this and break, and then you see a retest of support and you still create a higher high, boy, that candle is going to at least push up to here at the previous to test the previous high, right? If we do push up to here, or even this area here where our zone tracker is capturing, you're gonna see a really crazy fall in the market, because this is a kind of a squeeze area. So the markets are like they're trying to precondition themselves for a pump, anticipating that the Dixie will not break this, and so that's why we're seeing a little bit of a drive north. The moment this breaks this, if it does and holds support, all that confidence is just gone, and you're going to see the VIX just absolutely go on a tear, which is going to cause the markets to just tank. So I don't usually cover the VIX a whole lot, but we'll take a look at it. This was the trend line we marked yesterday. We were watching on the VIX. We did reject off of it perfectly. I would anticipate a little bit of a squeeze here, maybe a retest of the 16 or so range, but it's going to continue to test this. If that Dixie does break it and the markets become fearful, then you're going to see a break above this also, and just a nasty push north. So, and it can get as high as 26 or so, right, which would be not so good for the markets. So just kind of be careful, guys. You got two things in your corner you just don't want to ignore. One, we are at the end of the month, which typically markets like to have their pullback at the end of the month. Two, we're on a Friday, which market makers love to trap contracts anyways. And three, we're on a Friday before a holiday weekend. which I mean, it's just all the cards are stacking up against you for that. So just be smart. Today's not a day to swing for the fence, unless you really know what you're doing. So Microsoft had its tear. You guys can see we are opening pre is down on that. So which is not surprising that we get a little pullback after the tear it had yesterday. Google, interesting enough, it had its tear. It already kind of had its pullback here, and then it's just kind of hanging out around where it was. Amazon is about the same. You have Apple is down a little bit, guys. So Apple, I don't talk a lot about the tech plays because I don't really trade them, but a person in the room loves trading Apple. So this was the trend line we were following. I'm not going to go back, but it goes back for like a long time. This is the tear that Apple has been on. My play. He wants to. A few people in there want to play like Apple, and so I told them, if we break this, take that put. They did, and then what I mentioned is when you don't take a put here, it's just not smart, right? Because you're anticipating a breakthrough like heavy support. You're anticipating a breakthrough this 1 hour 200 EMA. It's not wise. Our divergence, Hunter called for a long. Everything said we were going up. We did. I said, if you want to re-enter a put, wait till we get a rejection here with a bearish candle, which we're actually getting, right? Now, if you're going to take a put, we may come down here for a double bottom, which would explode it back in through this range. But, anywhere in here, if you get that confirmation, I would still stay put. Where I would take a call on, also we're on the POC, you can see this yellow line here. Where I would take a call on, or be okay taking a call is, when you use the volume profile here, we want to flip this white line, all right, because then there's not a lot of pushback in this area. So if we flip this white line, it's almost certain that we're going to pump up to here. So that's kind of the range I would play if you're deciding to play Apple. So Bitcoin, let's touch on briefly. Nothing really has changed, so I'm not gonna dive in too much. We'll look at both indicators. So let's look at this one. This is our Harmonic Pro. So temporarily, Harmonic Pro is calling a short. Looks like it called a long here, which pumped up. We did catch this short. We did catch this long. So it's doing really, really well. It caught this long and it caught this short. This is on the 2 minute. I love the 2 minute for the Harmonic Tracker Pro. If you're using that, you guys know. Keep in mind, we did get a short, almost got TP1, so it did really well. But we are on the 2 minute extremely oversold, but we have not flipped green yet on this. So, there could be some more downsides, but if you see this flip green, then we're likely to see a nice little push up first. So, just keep an eye on that when it comes to the indicators. So I'm going to mute the Harmonic Pro. These are all custom indicators, guys, by BotJock, if you guys don't know. So what I want to show you guys in the zoom out here is, so we did kind of have this bearish pennant we were talking about, which it did retest and it created its fall. We haven't quite, because remember this is on the 1 hour. I don't know that this is the fall, right? This is just the initial break from that pattern. If we push up and we come up and retest this thing, right, somehow into the 26.8 or so, and we reject, that would be our fall retest rejection, and that would be just a nasty, nasty fall. I will caution you also, if you're on Bitcoin, it's not really a clear time to take a long, even though that we're near some crazy support, because you do have somewhat of a rising channel here, right? So if you were to take your top peaks here and you take your bottom peaks here, right, this would be kind of what you would be watching, right? So, and this wick sometimes is not the best play to play, right? So if you don't like that pattern, and you're like, man, I want more of a kind of a rising wedge, you could take these two lows here. So now you have your fall with kind of your rising wedge, right? So this could do this, right? Come up and hit this and retest, or it may not even make it to here, right? We may just come up and and hit this squeeze that it can't get past right here on 26.6, hit that squeeze, and then that could be our break. So be very careful if you're trading Bitcoin on your direction. So for me to be super bullish, I would almost need this to break, retest this same exact area that it did here as well. the break would equal about there anyways, because you got that, if it broke out here soon, it would fall through about here. That would give a double touch of support, and that might, on a larger time frame, create that double bottom situation, right, where it would have enough steam to push north. Also, our gap. Let's take a look at our gap fill indicator since we got a little time, because I don't really have a lot to cover on the ATAs. So now if you look at a more short time frame, right, you kind of have a little bit of a double bottom playing out. Let's go to the 1 hour on the gap fill indicator. So you can see we do have a gap that needs to be filled up here around 26.8, 27. But we are below this 200 EMA, so it would have to break that for that gap to ever come. Let's zoom out and see if we have any gaps back here. So a little bit of a gap fill down here still that we have not reclaimed, which coincides perfectly with this line. Little minor one over here, which would coincide to that, right, for that fall. So we do have some gaps to chase both ways. There's really no gaps that have been not filled, the purple ones up through here. So, this could be our push up somewhere in here to fill this gap and then fall. But I don't know, pending any news or bullish patterns, right? I would, like I said, on this 1 hour, I would really like to see this channel break, a retest of the support in this zone tracker green area, and then that would cause us to explode up to retest that area there. So hope that helps you on your direction for Bitcoin. So Ethereum's, it's really doing the same thing, guys. It's just really doing the same thing. I mean, you have your pump up, your fall, you got your rising channel, literally mimicking what Bitcoin's doing. So I'm not going to go super deep into Ethereum, but let's see what the harmonic tracker's got. So it's got us in a short. It did almost hit TP1 already. We're oversold, but not as much as we were on Bitcoin. So, we may see a little bit of a breakdown, hit TP1, TP2, and then a reverse. We do have a crab forming as well too. So, and then look at this resistance level. It's just absolutely building. So huge. So let's look at the gap one on the 1 hour. What do we got to chase? So on the 1 hour, guys, keep in mind, right, we kind of have our kind of shoulder, head, you have another shoulder. So if we can happen to break this level, right, that could give us some pretty sick volume, right, pushing up to 1852 on ETH, which would be a little different than Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin pushes north enough to allow this to kind of break above 1820 and retest that, then the play to 1850 could be pretty sick. Anything in this level, right, anything in the 1860, 1850, would be a great short to take. So we do still have the gap that we have to fill here, so that 1844, so that would kind of coincide to fitting on that. We don't have any gaps to fill here. Let's go back over here. ETH is a little different. We don't even really have, we already filled this gap here too. Let's go down here. So we do have a gap to fill down here in the 1500 range. That would basically be that lower low, right? That I think we're gonna chase at some point. So that's kind of where I'm at with the market, guys. It's Friday again. I hope it helps you, but don't overextend yourself. So let's jump into the ATA section of this. Let's run ETH. I don't think it's gonna be much. That's why I didn't mind spending a little more time on that, because so our ETH is still stuck in the long. If y'all remember, we set the second DCA here, and it continued to push up. Hasn't quite made it to get out. If it hits those range I talked about, we should get out just fine. Or if we have our crash, right, we'll DCA too. So I'm not too worried on ETH. Short looks like it is stuck since last night. So we have our buy, we have our DCA1, but we have not hit our DCA2 yet. I'm not going to DCA2 this. You can see my settings, I do not have a DCA2 yet. I don't want to DCA2 this because if we do get an explosion up here, we can go as high as 21 again, right? So I don't want to really be too aggressive with that quite yet. So 1780 is my entry. We're not that far away from it. It's losing some steam. So if the bearish anticipation I have plays out, this one will get out. The beauty of the way I'm positioned is I'm in a squeeze, right? So if it goes up, I win. If it goes down, I win. I don't care either way. So if you are not running ETH, you're welcome to start ETH. These are the settings I'm running. A long, you have long, parabolic SARs. I run default and take profits. I highly suggest if you're just starting out, you do not run the second DCA, just run the one. You're just going to come in, you're going to create your stop for the candle and close out your trade. That's all you do. And then that's going to create that yellow candle that you'll see. So let's take a look at LTC. I know that I'm running that one as well. If you haven't followed for what I'm doing, this is your to-do list. These are your alerts over here. You get these just by clicking this clock here. So the alerts are what I'm running. Guys, keep in mind the alert is what sends the signal. If I don't have an alert, it's not working. I don't care what the chart says, right? It's not sending that signal. The ATA or the code we have built will always be working 24/7. Doesn't stop. Thing works hard, right? Always going to be trading. It doesn't care if you have an alert set or not. It's going to be working, and that's why we have to force trades closed sometimes when we start them. So we do have LTC long. We are still in this one. If you guys remember, we've been stuck in this one for a little bit. We did DCA 2, I believe, on this one. Let's check. Yeah. So we did have our DCA 2. I don't think we set a DCA 3 on this one because I don't have interest in doing that yet. So we're just ranging. We just need one little burst up on LTC and we'll get out. LTC loves to just out of nowhere, just kind of burst up just enough. So I'm not too concerned. LTC has just done really well. I mean, I still made $100 in 11 days, even with it being stuck. So let's take a look at the short. The short is also stuck here, so it's kind of funny. LTC and ETH are both in the same situation. So it's going to be a win-win for me unless we just do this all weekend, right? Which would be terrible, but whatever. We go up, I win. We go down, I win. I'm not going to set... let me think here. Yeah, I just don't want to set a second DCA on LTC either. So, but if you're not running LTC and you want to run LTC, guys, here's the long settings that I do. All you do is you add it to the chart. You're going to simply change this to LTC. You're going to change this to long, change this to parabolic SARs, like that on the bottom. Leave that touched. I'm running BitGet. If you're running BitGet, you can do that. If you're running KuCoin, choose KuCoin. Here's the take profits, leave them default. You should not be running the second DCA. If you're just starting it, you would just simply uncheck that and just run the default on the one DCA. Then you're going to come down here. If you want to run a stop loss, you can. I don't run the stop loss because I'm trading both long and short. On BitGet, you can do that. On KuCoin, you cannot. KuCoin, you have to change long or short, and that's why, or trade long or short, and that's why BitGet is just so much better. So if you're on KuCoin, you really should be on BitGet. And then just close your candle out. So in this section here, right below the stop loss, you're going to simply just put the date of today. And then you would hit close out on trade on chart, and that's going to create your yellow candle. Once you create that yellow candle, all you do is you come to these little three dots and you create your alert. Just add the alert like that. So and then just make sure that you have your webhook in there, which you can find on your dashboard. So and then the short, I'm doing the same. I have short LTC, parabolic SARs, BitGet. These are all default. I only have one DCA. I'm not doing the stop loss, but you can manage your own risk. And then I closed out the candle on here. So again, you would set this for today. You would hit close trade on chart, come in, set your alert. So it's that simple, guys. And we have a lot of training videos if you need to refer to those to help you out. So, but you know, we minimize purposely our trade positions. You guys know this because I don't want to get stuck in anything through the holiday. I think there's going to be a lot of manipulation coming through the markets, you know, around the holiday or right after. So normally, you guys know I like to be aggressive on my ATA coming into the holiday. I'm just not feeling it this weekend. If you guys want to run some more stuff, that's fine. But as far as what I'm doing, I'm just not, you know, I don't want to worry about ATA. I don't want to worry about anything. I just want to, you know, hang out and just chill this weekend. So so I'm not running anything else. Let's see if Sol got out. We did have a Sol long. Probably not if we're downtrending, but we did get a good pump. No, yeah, look at this. We've just been trading sideways. We do have it set to DCA if it gets here, and we do have it set to take profit if it gets up here, and it's done literally nothing. The one thing you guys will learn, the market does not care what you are doing. It does not come to you. You must basically adhere to the market. And at the end of the day, I don't care how good the technology is. I don't care how good of a trader you are. If you trade, if the market's doing this on any pair you're trading, you're likely not going to do much on that one, right? So it's just hung up. I'm just going to let it go. I already have this one set as an existing trade, so when it's out, it's out. I have about 6 minutes left, so what I'm going to do is, if Sol's not a bad one, if you're not running it and you guys want to start that, you can. Let's take a look at XRP. So XRP looks like it had a nice little boost. I am not running XRP right now. You guys can see it's not on my alerts, but I'm going to take a quick look at it in case anybody wants to run it. So this is the range I've been playing, the upper, the lower, the middle. We are in the upper part of the middle, so I would not be taking necessarily longs here because we have the possibility to reject here. Now, the reason why I would not touch XRP with a 10-foot pull is because although we are near a heavy resistance area, what was once resistance turned support, turned resistance, right? The likelihood of that is going to reject, but you have a bullish pattern with your inverse head and shoulder on a 1 hour. And we are literally creeping up to the neckline right here. So if it does break this neckline, this resistance will almost be non-existent. It will literally just explode through it like that. And so that would just destroy any short that I have. So I won't run XRP. I don't recommend anybody running XRP. If y'all want to trade XRP, follow that neckline, because if it breaks, make some money on that pop north. But don't get caught, because you also have a pretty nasty trend line coming like this, right? So you could get a fake wick up like this and then a rejection. That's hard. So if every pattern played out to 100%, man, we'd all be rich. So sometimes patterns are put in place to trap people. Matic play did really well. So somebody had called this yesterday. So when I was on live, which was really cool. I didn't look at Matic. I know that it potentially had a good play. Look at this. Our ATA actually caught it if I was running it. I'm not running Matic right now, guys, but y'all know my thoughts on Matic would have been to stay long because it was just ranging all day long on this support line right here. So it did wake up, hit this resistance, which was previous support, and you can see that we just absolutely rejected. So, but it was a good play, right? We still played well. If you're looking to run Matic and you love that pair, I would only stay long, because even though we had this rejection here, we're still near some crazy support. It's absolutely crazy support, and I think that this might be a healthy pullback before it retests and then explodes north again. So I'm not going to run it because, again, I'm not going to overextend my stuff, but that would be Matic I would do. So last one I'll take a look at, and then we'll end the call here, is Dogecoin. We added Doge just because it made sense, but y'all know I don't run Doge a lot, which is funny. I don't run it a lot because the tweets, the ridiculous bursts like this out of here, right, could destroy your ATA. But if you really, if you run the data on the back test for Doge, it actually performs really, really well. Because if you look at all this time, it's just been oscillating. I mean, that's like prime for an ATA. So if you're running Doge because you like to take a little more of a risk, it does do really well. But I would suggest setting a stop loss. So when you were to come in here, just in like CQC, I did too. I would say like around 5%. I wouldn't go any crazier, and I always do stop out after the stop loss. So that way, if you do get a parabolic move and it stops you out, you don't want to have it retest and you enter again and then parabolic move again, right? It's just going to keep stopping you out, which could happen with Dogecoin. So I always we added that feature purposely so that way if you have a coin you want to take a chance on, by checking this box, once it stops out, it will not take any more trades. So that's kind of a safety protocol. So if you guys are not, if you're watching this first time and you're not familiar with what I'm even talking about, you can go into our training section here, and this is all mostly related to our ATAs. So you can come in here, you can watch this, you can do all this for free. You just hit play, it pops up right on here, and that shows you exactly what I'm talking about. So if you're even kind of curious, if you're watching on YouTube or on TikTok. But I appreciate you guys' time. We actually did make it to 9 a.m. Again, I will be trading today. I'll put out the room here in about 10 minutes. You guys can come into the Google Meet. If you're on TikTok, you guys can too. Um, I'm gonna probably take 0 days. The only way I'm gonna take a 7 day, guys, is if I see like a crazy push north that's just touching on like ridiculous resistance. I mean, I might be okay with taking that longer contract and just ride that sucker down, because I don't think that we have what it takes yet to just explode past those upper trend lines. So um, you guys want more? You guys want me to check out a specific pair? I always get these messages like, check this pair, check that pair, check this pair. I will check anything you want, just not during these huddles, because this is a very specific event that we do in our community. But when we have the live floor, man, we're just trading. We're waiting for things to play out. We're calling things. You want me to look at something? I don't really care. I'll look at whatever you want me to look at. So if you want to trade something else, so I'm very disciplined in what I trade and how I trade. So if you're out doing something else, you want me to look, I'll give you my insight. So appreciate your time, and you guys have a great rest of your day. Let me go ahead and close this call.